Hi, I'm Steve. This is Comics Crossfire. We're here with Jason and Alex, and today's topic is Thor versus Green Lantern. Gentlemen.
I'm going to have to give it to Green Lantern, mainly because he's got the range and he can create anything with his ring made out of light. So I got to give it to Green Lantern.
Right. Thor, easily. Thor's not even a contest. Green Lantern at his best, he's going to trap Thor in a bubble or something like that. What do you know? Thor's got a gigantic hammer in his hand. He's going to bust the fucking thing right over.
Right. What affect magic versus Green Lantern's ring, Jason?
Well, it's like, because he can make constructs made out of hardened light, and he uses it to stop Black Adam's magic bolts.
Okay.
So why can't he stop Thor's hammer?
That's a good point. Alex, what do you say?
Green Lantern's constructs are broken regularly on like an almost daily basis by stronger super strength beings. You got a god who's already muscle bound alone who actually hits harder with his hammer in hand. He's going to bust through those things every time. Granted, they might be little strong constructs from little strong willpower, but you figure every time he busts through those things, it's going to take a little bit more out of Lantern. He's going to have to focus hard. It's eventually going to be draining on him. Meanwhile, the hammer's not going to get softer. He's going to keep busting through them all the time.
Nah, the rings does not drain on the wielder. The only thing it does is it drains on its total power, which lasts for days. So it's like
the wielder actually sweats and winces when he has to do things that strain his body.
Hal Jordan, though, has, superlative willpower. The ring is fueled by will. That's what the Green Lantern emblem actually means. That will matched up against.
Sorry, go ahead.
That willpower matched up against Thor, not that against the guy, but that's pretty potent combination.
There's been plenty of instances where, say, for example, the Justice League had to pull the Earth back into, or pull the moon back into the Earth's atmosphere, and you could actually see the Lantern visibly gritting his teeth and pulling and straining and sweating all over it. Not saying that the hammer's as heavy as a moon, but what I'm saying is that the wearer, the power of his constructs and the effort it takes to keep him powered does take a strain on his wearer after a while. Granted, also the Green Lanterns have their auto shields up, but hitting them constantly, they're going to bust. If you can bust through a construct, you can bust through the shield that wraps around the Green Lantern's body.
Okay, but that's also, we're just talking about just the constructs themselves. We're not actually talking about Green Lantern's attack value. Take John Stewart, for example, during
This is not about beating his
Let him finish.
Take John Stewart during the Green Lantern Rebirth comics. He took down Superman not because he popped him in a bubble and just hope he didn't get out. He literally sent like 15 like very small beams and hit Superman in his eyes.
You have to take that?
And
Jason, this is your mom. She says stop with the bullshit.
All right, so you're saying that
John Stewart took down Superman by attacking his eyes.
Okay.
Okay, but I have to stop you there. At what point do we have to admit bad writing when we see it? You figure
Jeff Johns, hold on. That was pretty good writing.
Listen. You figure as fast as Superman is, this is a guy that can move from point A to point B in fractions of a second. You figure he's gonna sit still long enough for you to shoot him, for you to zap him in his eyes. You figure at the time that happened, they were all petitioning and begging John Stewart to snap out of it and come to his senses, and they were standing there vulnerable. They weren't on defense and ready to fight. They didn't want to harm John Stewart.
I'll give you that with Superman, but against Thor does not move as fast as Superman. Not to mention the ring's constructs. It's light. They move at the speed of light. So the second he thinks of something attacking Thor's eyes, it's going to happen.
The constructs don't move at the speed of light. I'm pretty sure of that. The Green Lantern himself can fly at those speeds, but they regularly don't enter in and out of combat. Look at all of
so even that right there, flying at those speeds.
Yeah,
how's Thor going to catch Green Lantern? He's going to stay out of his range and just pummel him.
So you're telling me the Green Lantern's just going to run away the whole entire time, shooting behind him as he's running away?
No, I'll probably fly around him, do all kinds of
And how's he going to beat somebody when he's just flying in circles trying to avoid everything?
No, because he's going to be shooting him while he does it.
He's going to be shooting him, and Thor's just going to stand still and say, ow, 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 please stop shooting me, and move slow down enough so I can hit you.
Well, we may say have it and throw the hammer, but there's a lot of incoming fire. The ring is capable of generating all kinds of fire. You're not just talking constructs. You're talking about beams of light that would travel at the speed of light, striking.
This is not just Thor. We're not going to say, okay, we're assuming that Thor's just going to stand there and swing his hammer around. Thor has fought guys before with similar power sets. He's fought Quasar before. Quasar's pretty much the Marvel equivalent of Green Lantern. He comes up with constructs of his own, and he's never taken Thor out. Thor's not going to just sit there and just wait for an opportunity to swing the hammer.
Quasar doesn't have the power that the Green Lanterns have backing it.
That's a debate for later, but we're talking about similar people. If you can compare Superman, you can compare Quasar.
Fair enough.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, if he's able to just defend himself against Quasar, he's able to defend himself against Green Lantern's constructs, especially when the constructs are shattered, like I said, on a daily basis by guys.
They don't just have to make constructs; they can just shoot like a beam of light, which does considerable amount of damage. Sinestro's killed multiple people with his ring.
Like who? For example, like who?
Any of the Green Lantern races that are out there.
Green Lantern races?
The members of the Corps.
Yes.
Who were just in the way of the fire. You really think Thor is just going to not move out the way? Thing is, when you shoot blasts like that, they have to be focused, concentrated blasts. They're not just regular, everyday, random. Like every blast that comes out of a Green Lantern's ring is not the same strength as every single one before that.
You're right.
If you're going to fire a beam strong enough to burn through somebody, that's going to take concentrated firepower every single time. And if Hal Jordan's just flying around in circles, he's not going to blast multiple beams like that constantly, that every single one of them is going to pierce through Thor every single time.
He just recently hit a Guardian with enough force to kill it with one shot.
And yes or no, it was a focused, concentrated blast that took a ton of willpower out of Hal Jordan. You're telling me Hal Jordan
fine afterwards.
You're telling me Hal Jordan's going to... That's ridiculous. You're telling me Hal Jordan's going to fly in a circle and fire like a dozen blasts of the exact same magnitude, the exact same focus, constantly back to back to back?
No, what I'm saying is as soon as the word go is going to go, he's going to fire at Thor and then the fight's going to be over.
And Thor has the exact same power set to do the exact same amount of damage with what they call the God Blast that Thor has done 1,000,000 times before, which again is a focused pierce of energy that they both need time to...
Doesn't he have to... I think that the Thor Blast that you're referencing, doesn't he have to summon that up? I mean, he channels that through his hammer.
The same thing with Green Lantern. He has to sit there, hold his hand for a while, and focus a beam of energy just the same way.
Definitely not. I would bring in the last issue of Green Lantern. He just got off the wall and then fired that at the.
He was amped up at the time. I have the issue at home. I'll bring it in next time.
Doesn't do much good now.
Well, hey, the battles are random. I wasn't told I was going to need it with me.
Yeah, Green Lantern was being held down by the Guardian as soon as.
Actually, he wasn't being held down by the Guardian at all.
Yeah, he was. Him and Sinestro were pinned against the wall, and as soon as Sinestro got...
Actually, they weren't pinned against the wall. They actually had attacked him, and then he broke away, as usual, broke away the constructs like everyone else does. And then Hal Jordan fired his blast at him. They were not pinned against the wall. If he was pinned against the wall, he would never be able to focus his hands together and shoot him.
Well, that's why I said he was pinned to the wall. When he got free, he shot Kronos.
But anyway, if he was capable of doing that, he would have just done it from the very beginning. Like I said, he was amped up through a whole battle. The adrenaline was flowing, the willpower was going. He had been beaten, and everybody was fighting. Let me say, if Green Lanterns were capable of firing that exact amount of power every single time,
well, no, not every Green Lantern is capable of doing that. I mean, Hal Jordan, he's the greatest Lantern of them all. Duh.
And he's never done that before in any of his comics.
Sure, he has. He's done all kinds of stuff. He destroyed Oa originally.
Yeah, when he had the Spectre. Just go ahead and take that back.
He wasn't Spectre at the time.
This guy's so full of shit. It's starting to bug me.
He was Parallax at the time.
Exactly.
He's the Parallax possessed, right?
Thank you. That
Parallax
doesn't
amp up your power. It just means he controls him, and at that point, Parallax wasn't in complete control of him. He was just giving him
That says nothing about Hal Jordan. That says something about Parallax. I want to use the same. I want to use the same. You're talking about potential, then. You're not talking about actual ability.
No, I'm saying Parallax did not amp up Hal Jordan. He was just suggesting his behavior.
So in other words, that wouldn't have been Hal Jordan on his own. That was Hal Jordan influenced by Parallax.
No, that was him.
That's his power.
Hal Jordan.
In other words, the potential is there, but it needed someone else to focus it out.
Well, come on.
But then why the hell would Thor and Green Lantern fight to begin with?
Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Don't go meta on us.
Don't go
meta.
Meta? What is meta?
Yeah, I'm lost. I'm lost for that one too.
We don't know what meta is.
Are you kidding me?
We're not.
The literary theory? Never mind. All right. Well, on that nerdish note, guys, sum up your best arguments for your respective guys. Jason, start us off.
All right, cool. Green Lantern will win hands down because he moves at the speed of light. His constructs move at the speed of light. And he freaking topples godlike creatures with one blast from his brain. Done.
Thor wins this all the time. Thor is a god being. He's used to fighting other beings on the same level as him. Hal Jordan's just a dude with a ring who makes little glass figurines that can come at them, and he'll just smack them out the way and punch Hal Jordan in the face.
All right. That's it for Comics Crossfire. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your company. Tune in to us next time.